Good, good afternoon if you're on the East Coast, good morning if you're on the West Coast. Just wait for a few people to arrive before we get started. Merry Christmas to some, Happy Festivus to the rest of us. Nice to see you all join me on Christmas Day, so Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to you all. There's only two reasons you would have joined me today. You're either sat on the sofa really bored, or you got some mobility tools and you're really ready to use them on Christmas Day. So awesome, and thank you very much for joining me. We are going to do a very much upper body focused session today. You can also join me tomorrow at 2:30 where I'll be doing a little bit more upper and lower body mobility stuff. So welcome to everyone that's joining me. Quite a few people are joining. Awesome. Again, hopefully you've got some new toys to play with for mobility for the gym. We know that you're going to be rejoining us in the end of January, or if your Good Life gym is open, you'll be joining us again soon. So hello everyone. Going to turn off the comments. I get really distracted when people comment as I go along. But if you would like to leave some feedback, if you'd like to see some stuff in our sessions, then obviously put some feedback at the end of this session. Otherwise, we're going to get on with our mobility work. So just going to turn off the comments as I say. Lovely to see you all. Awesome. So today's session, we're going to concentrate mainly on upper body. We haven't done anything with the chest and opening the chest and shoulders for a little while, so we're going to start with that. Now, as I start with all the sessions, we're going to do a little bit of a check-in. Really simple for the upper body, and that's, can you bring your shoulders back? We've done a wall arm slide test before, that's also relevant, so you can try that. But can you rotate your shoulders, or do they feel a little bit crunchy or restricted? Can you bring your arm in line with the midline? That's also another really good chest stretch, or just kind of feedback loop, as we call it. Can we bring our arm back? Obviously, feel free to do this in front of the family in the front room. Makes yourself look a little bit crazy if you've got headphones on. A little bit of rotation. Just kind of see how you feel, and also it's important to see how the neck and head relate to how your shoulder moves as well, because obviously they're attached as well. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to come down to the floor. We're starting the foam roller. If you have a longer foam roller, this is actually more useful for this particular stretch. So really easy to do. I want to make sure that you are supporting your neck with this one. We don't want it hanging off too much, although this can also form part of the stretch. Place this towards the middle of your back, and all we're going to do is find a comfortable position and just let our body hang down over the side of the foam roller. Obviously, if it's a little bit longer, that is actually a little bit more useful, because it means that you can get a little bit more of your low back supported as well. I'm just going to pretend that I do have a long one, and this is actually mainly going to open up that upper chest as well, as you just support your own weight. Now, if you have a shorter foam roller like myself, you can obviously get like a foam block or something to support it, but I just want you to hang out here for about 30 seconds and just breathe. And as you breathe out, just let your shoulders stretch and relax. Now let's just reach up a little bit, get a little bit more of a chest stretch. And as you breathe out, that's where you really want to just let yourself relax and open up. Okay? Now, if you have a shorter foam roller like myself, you want to reposition every so often just to get a little bit more of an opening. I'm just going to move up the foam roller just a little bit this time, and I'm just going to bring my head back, support my chest, and the foam roller let that open a little bit. And again, we're just focusing on opening out that chest. So that would be a really good way to start with this particular stretch and opening. The second part of this, while we're here, we're going to work on the posterior chain. So we're going to open up a little bit of levator scapularis muscle that connects the neck and the shoulder. We're also going to work around that tender spot the shoulders that often get. So grab your lacrosse ball if you have one, if you're lucky enough to get one today, or something similar. And we're just going to set up just to the left of the spine, just towards the edge of the scapula. So that flat part of your shoulder on the back, the meaty bit, if you will. And we're just going to start just finding that tender spot that everyone tends to get. So I'm on my left side. I know that I already have a knot there, so I'm just going to sit on that. And we want to make sure that when we're in that spot, we're in about 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of pressure. So I'm just going to hang out there. So nice deep breaths in. And if you can't quite get the placement, let's just reach up to the ceiling, just to kind of see where that might be. Perfect. And we're going to work our way around the scapula as we go on this one. So nice deep breath in. We're just going to bridge up a little bit to add a little bit more pressure. That's that. And if you get some relaxation, you can even change spots. So nice deep breath in. Let's just add a little bit of movement in that one as we work our way around the scapula. Excellent. And if you find another spot, which I just did, we're just going to sit on that. We're going to bridge up just a little bit to add that 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of pressure, and we're just going to dig in. And again, our intention for this was we were actually working around the edge of that scapula, just trying to find all the tender spots before we dig into more towards our trap, more towards our neck area, and we get that meaty part there. So nice deep breath in. We can add a little bit of a bridge to get more of a direct kind of hit on that spot, on that tender spot, that trigger point we often get. Deep breath in and out. And as you breathe out, we're just going to sink into that tissue. That's an important time to just let that relax. Now we're going to add a little bit of arm movement. So we're just going to come up and down, see if that adds anything to this. And I know as I get to that top left corner, that top pocket there, that I'm getting a little bit more of a direct pressure on that trigger point that I have there. Okay? So you can also do that. So let's just do that one more time. Again, nice deep breath in. Breath out, deep breath in again. I'm going to sink into that pressure point. We're now going to stretch downwards towards the bottom left hand corner. I'm going to bring it over towards that top left hand corner. And now let's do something a little bit different. We're going to come across the bottom right hand corner. We're going to turn this thumb down as we get a little bit more of a stretch on the trigger point, and we're just going to relax. So again, you could do that multiple times. You can repeat this over and over again, but we're going to move onto the right hand side so we give you enough of a hit on each side of the shoulder. Really great to loosen up this area before you do any overhead work, as this is an area that gets really, really stretched and kind of gets a lot of trigger points if you sat at a desk a lot. So I'm on my right hand side. I've worked in towards my scapula on that medial edge, that close kind of border, and looking at the meaty part of the shoulder, trying to find the trigger points. And again, if you have some, or if you have none, just pick how long you spend on this area. So nice deep breath in. Just find out where that knot is, and I've just caught it. It's great. So deep breath in. 6 or 7 out of 10. Just going to pin that spot. Let's just move if we need to. Pin it down. Deep breath in. Bridge up if you need to. Okay, move on to the next spot if you need to, or if you need to add a little bit of movement by moving that ball up and down or lifting that shoulder up and down. That also works great too. So pinning that tissue, and you can either come around the top border edge of the scapula or more towards the trap, and that works great too. We're actually going to try and find a trigger point that's most relevant to you. And again, if you don't have any, just spend more time on whichever shoulder needs it. Okay? So nice deep breath in. We can reach up if we need to work more into that trigger point, or we can sink our weight down if we need to find that too. We can reach down to the bottom corner to try and add a little bit of a stretch on that trigger point. Or we can even reach up to the top right hand corner. Deep breath in. We can reach down again. You want a little bonus, we can even rotate our hand a little bit too at the bottom corner, try and get that trigger point to kind of ease off. So a little bit of movement, let's just see if we can recapture that tissue. If it still feels tender, tight, we want a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in terms of pressure. Never want to have any pain. And we just want to regather that tissue as we go down towards the bottom left-hand corner. And we're going to add some movement, so we're going to rotate out as well. So we're stretching up and out. Awesome. Okay, so now we've released a little bit of a trigger point in the shoulder. And again, you can spend as much time as you need to. If it's useful to you, spend a little bit more time. We're now going to move on to a little bit of a chest stretch using the foam roller, and I'm going to show you a couple of variations that you can do with the TRX, which I've set up, or a chair if you have one as well, which most people do. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on this one. We're going to put the foam roller into just where the pectoral, the pec minor, pec major attach in towards the shoulder, putting a little bit of pressure, again, 6 or a 7 out of 10. So I'm going to face this way, just away from you slightly. We're going to pin that tissue down, and we're going to push our hand into the floor, supporting with our knee, because that's going to allow us to add more pressure if we need it. We're just going to stay in this position. And all we're going to do is, once we pin the tissue, is we're either going to turn our body away to stretch away from the arm, or we're going to lift the arm up. So nice deep breath in first. We're going to sink into the tissue. Sinking in. Sinking again as that tissue kind of relaxes. Pick a spot where you feel a little bit of tenderness. And now we're just going to turn away a little bit to get a little bit more of a stretch. And we're going to lift up just a little bit. Now, if you get any, sometimes I hear clients say that they get a little bit of tingling in this area, so we're just going to ease off a little bit and just relax and then regather the tissue. So you can always do that. Feeling numbness or tingling, obviously you don't want that. It's just compression of the brachial complex, so don't really want that. And we're just going to move just a little bit, gather the tissue. Deep breath in. Lift up, turn to our right, and then we lift our hand up a little bit for a little bit of stretch. Now we can scan a little bit, give a wave, see if that helps, and then let's switch over, so we're not spending too much time either side. Let's do the other side. So again, find the spot where you can support with your leg. If you need to use a yoga brick, that also works. And we're just going to find that sweet spot on our pec where we can get a little bit of pressure, help tease it open our chest, so we might have to reposition. It's a little bit different on either side. So first thing I'm going to do, a little bit of pressure into the foam roller to find that sweet spot. Turn our body away just a little bit to gauge the pressure, which you can use your arm or your knee. And then we're just going to turn our body slightly and lift our arm if we need to. Now, I'm a little bit tighter on my right, so I can't lift off as much. That tells me that I've got a lot of opportunity. And we're going to wave a little bit there. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. We're going to turn our body as we breathe out. Feel a little bit more of a stretch. Deep breath in. Sink into a little bit more pressure. Lift that arm up. Deep breath in. Lift up, turn our body, and relax. Awesome. Repeat this as many times as you need to. If it needs to be a bit more recovery or a little bit quicker, you can add a little bit more movement, or you can come higher or lower depending upon where you need it, which is great. So, we'll finish with the foam roll. I'm going to show you a couple of other variations that really, really work well. So that for those of you that were lucky enough to get a suspension kit for Christmas, this will come in really useful. We can do a little bit of a stretch chest opener. I have one already set up on my wall, so we're going to use that a little bit. Now, a couple of ways to use this for a chest stretch. We can have a split stance and just let our body fall into position, and then we're just going to reach overhead, just working out what range we have with our chest. We can even fall even further forward, and we can do a little bit of PNF. So within this position, if you have set up in the door jamb or on the wall, a little bit of a chest stretch. Now at the end of our range, we're just going to do a little bit of a chest flight by pushing out towards the walls away from us and squeezing back a little bit to get our chest activated. And as we breathe out, we're just going to fall a little bit more into the range. So this is just going to help us kind of add a little bit more to that end range of motion, stretch the chest out because we get so tight when we're on our phones and computers all day. A little bit higher now, let's change the range, change the angle. We're going to do the same thing, so fall into the stretch, come back just a little bit. We're going to push actively, push, 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 feel our chest activate. Imagine that you're trying to reach out to the sides, and then we're coming into the stretch a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit more active range of motion to it. So we're going to glide through the end range, trying to get our shoulders to move, our chest to open up. Just going to tie everything together. You don't want too much pressure because you don't want to arch our back. We just want to have enough so that we get movement through the shoulders at the end range as far as you can go. Awesome. Keep breathing through. And now we're going to add a little bit of a rotation. So all the way to do is hold. If you have a band, this also works. If you have a piece of rope or something similar, this also works well too. We're just going to turn our body. So we're holding one hand, we're turning away, and we're turning our body out. So a little bit of a rotation, a little bit more active rotation as we turn up to get a little bit more of a chest stretch. This will also work, as I'll show you in a minute, if you had a broom handle and you wanted to work a little bit more of the range. So I'm going to switch and turn away from you now, so you can join me if you want to do it on the other side. We're going to turn our body up to get that stretch. So you can either stand square, or you can stand with your foot turned in. This isn't really going to be for the lower body on this particular stretch, but we're just looking at working our shoulder and our chest stretch through that end range. So you can even turn a little bit towards the top of that range. So again, if you want to add a little bit more PNF, like we did with the chest opener stretch, we can even turn our body away, push our chest or our arm, on our hand into the TRX, the suspension trainer, just to get a little bit more of a chest stretch. And when you relax, you can go a little bit more. Awesome. So a little bit of rotation, but a little bit active movement, a little bit more open on the chest, and I really hope that that has helped kind of open up. The last thing I want to do is show you a couple of ways you can do it with household objects. So first one, we're going to do is a chest opener with a chair. So this is really good if you don't have any equipment but you're in the office. We can actually use chair to open our chest up. So making sure that if you have an office chair, you set up roughly around hip height. What we're going to do is 90 degrees with our arm. Support your weight. If you want to stretch your chest, you're just going to turn your body away, and we're going to rock back, pushing our hand down slightly to feel a little bit more of a stretch in the chest. And you're just going to turn your body this way, so rotate and rock. This also works awesome with an exercise ball because you get a little bit more of an active rotation. So from this position, we're going to do a little bit of a snow angel across the top of the chair, just to see if there's any other corners or angles that we need to stretch. Sinking back into our hip, take a nice deep breath in, and turn our body away. Deep breath in, turn our body away. I'm just going to sink back a little bit. Perfect, let's do the other side. Again, could ideally be a little bit higher for me, because I'm a little bit taller, but desk chair works perfectly fine. You can even wheel it backwards and forwards, and that works really well just to get that shoulder to glide a little bit and get that chest open. So start again, make sure you have a nice flat back in position, hands supporting, arm is on the chair. We're going to sink down so we get a little bit of a stretch on the chest, and then we're just going to turn our body away, so I'm going to turn towards the back wall to get a little bit more of a chest stretch, sink back a little bit to find that sweet spot, deep breath in. And we're just going to turn away, actively pushing our hand down into the floor and our arm into the chair, rocking backwards and forwards, just to feel that active stretch. Awesome. Excellent. really feel that chest open up. And again, you can apply that PNF principle we tried earlier with the pushing down, going more into the range, seeing if that works for you. So the last thing we're going to do is a little bit more advanced, so it may not be completely for you, but there's a little bit of opportunity if you can. We're just going to see what our end range of motion is like, just bringing, I've stolen a broom overhead, or a bar, or if you are in one of our studios, you could use one of the exercise bars. They work great too, just to see what's happening with the range in your shoulders as well. So awesome. I am back on tomorrow, 2:30. Let me just turn on commenting again, just to see if anyone's still watching. Hopefully I've at least got a few people still on. I'll see you at 2:30 tomorrow, where we'll do a little bit more of our upper and lower body work, hopefully integrating some new toys that you have. If you're watching this in review, thanks very much for checking it out. We love to get your feedback. We love to hear from what you want from us, what's really going to help. We're hoping to launch a bunch of new classes in the new year, which are really going to help you utilize our online Instagram channel a little bit more easily. I hopefully will be teaching a few more classes as well. For those of you who joined us, Merry Christmas, have a great day. I hope you are all safe. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, that's Boxing Day, at 2:30, where we're doing another class there. So have a great day. I hope you get what you wanted. Merry Festivus to everyone else, and speak to you soon. Thanks very much.